Hi Cosmonauts! A very important proposal for Atom is currently on chain. StackLab proposes to reduce the minimum inflation to 0%. To understand this proposal, I give you the context of the current inflation model. For the moment, the minimum inflation is at 7%, which means that no matter the percentage of staked Atom or the amount of income brought by consumer chain, the blockchain will dilute the holders of Atom which does not stake with an inflation of 7% per year. We therefore immediately understand the value of this proposal. The goal is to give Atom the power to adapt more easily to any situation, and especially the most extreme, by giving it the opportunity to be non-inflationary based on AEZ actual performance. But several things remains to be clarified before getting there. First of all, before anything, it's important to note that regardless of the outcome of this proposal is to be welcomed and falls into the category of the most important proposals and makes the value of the Cosmos hub. As seen in the previous video, Atom is the only decentralized financial infrastructure with monetary policy sovereignty. This is why the majority of validators will take position, and if you do not participate in capital proposal, you must know that you delegate your votes to your validators. Well, now you have all the information, so let's clear up the situation. I would like to return quickly to my position with regard to Atom's monetary policy, since the first proposal aimed at reducing max inflation. While the question is whether we should keep 20% maximum inflation achievable or reduce it to 10%, personally, I will vote yes to double the max inflation. For Atom to have an emergency response, the whole thing is to have the right dynamic system which mostly sticks to a decent average. Reducing inflation max is just removing a potential weapon in an extreme situation. And the same goes for minimum inflation. Limiting minimum inflation is limiting the power of Atom. Atom should even be able to deflate its 100% of the Atom are stacked, which is also not desirable. Well, you would have understood the real debate that decides the relevance of monetary policy of Atom is not an handicap that's imposed by limiting the max or minimum inflation, but the real proposal, why is not the first proposal? I don't know. It's the one that determines when the hub is in the extreme situation. This moment where 3 or more blockchains, ICS, have a security considered too weak. The real proposal that will then allow us to agree on our maximum and minimum limits is the one that determines the dynamism of inflation. ProDelegator made for us an analysis and simulation of inflation rates over time. If this proposal passes with the current dynamic calculation, we will quickly understand that there is no chance that this proposal will pass before the variable of dynamism is reviewed. The movement of the inflation rate is determined like this. It should be understood that there is a change in annual inflation rate that takes into account the percentage of atoms stacked above the 67% target, so that the change in the annual inflation rate is equal to 1 minus the stacking of ratio on the goal of the stacking rate, all multiplied by the inflation rate. With a projection of stacking ratio that reached the top after 9 months at 75%, inflation will tend towards minimum inflation in 2025. Knowing that 75% remains reasonable for a POS blockchain, Solana for example is more than 88%. If this proposal passes, it will mean that we can expect 0% inflation for May 2025. If we do not change other parameters, this proposal is a bet on the fact that Atom no longer needs inflation to encourage the security of its blockchain, and that of consumption chains, this is a very risky bet, because it is to predict that AEZ brings enough income to Atom to induce enough others to stake their Atom. But if we redefine other parameters such as a change in the inflation rate, this proposal makes a lot of sense, as mentioned at the beginning of the video. No need to dilute Atom holders with inflation if the number of staked Atom is greater than 95% and the real return no longer depends on the rate inflation. Moreover, we must not forget that monetary policy does not need to be adapted to any type of eventuality. I do not even know if it's possible to program such a thing, but this does not mean that we should not seek the most complete monetary policy possible today. This is also the biggest challenge for Bitcoin, which has fixed and centralized issue will be adapted to the future that awaits it. Again, with Atom, we have the unique power to govern money. The 4 parameters that define the evolution of inflation and its distribution can be modified as such as necessary and modified specially according to needs. I think now everything is clear. If not, do not hesitate to use the comment section below. Don't forget to vote if you don't want to delegate this power to your validator. Great guys, now don't forget to subscribe to miss nothing of what is happening in the cosmos. Bye Cosmonauts!